Ho, ho, ho. Hey there, friends, family, clients, and loved ones. Brad Vincent with Realty Texas coming to you with what is very likely my last video of the year in 2015. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Depending on when you see this, it may be before or after those events. Wanted to touch on a couple of things in this video, try to keep it brief as always, although I almost never keep it under 10 minutes, which is my goal. First I want to talk about the beard, or what I call the strain on my marriage. My wife hates this thing, but I'm growing this beard for a very specific reason. I was challenged to do so, and it is to raise awareness for Hope Lodge Houston, which is a effort from the American Cancer Society. They are planning on building a facility here in town that is it's going to cost them $30 million to build, and then the facility is going to house patients and their family that are undergoing cancer treatment of various stages and types. For those who know me, this is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. My mom very recently had breast cancer, and two of my uncles died of cancer when I was young. So it's something that I have experienced in a couple of different ways. When I was going to chemotherapy treatments with my mom, I met a lot of women specifically because this was a breast cancer treatment facility, but I met a lot of women who did not have friends or family members to take them to chemo or to pick them up from chemo treatments. And chemotherapy takes a lot out of your body, so you can't really drive or operate heavy machinery after you've had chemo. And a lot of these women were relying on outside organizations to help them. They're relying on their church. I know my grandparents would actually drive into town from the Dallas-Fort Worth area on days where I couldn't take my mom to chemo because of work, or days that my dad couldn't take her to chemo because of work. And not a lot of people have that support system like my mom had. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity I have because of my job, my flexibility to be there and to kind of cherish those memories I had with my mom, being able to take her to those treatments. But not a lot of people have that. So that's what this is all about. George and Barbara Bush are very involved in this, as well as Bob McNair, the owner of the Houston Texans. In fact, Bob McNair is matching any donation that is made in the year 2015. So I want to urge people to donate, and if you don't donate, maybe tell somebody about it. You can do a quick Google search for Hope Lodge Houston and find out about it. You're going to want to contact Sandy Biggers, whose contact info should be up on the screen right now and throughout this video, to donate. I've got all the contact info there to email her or to mail in a donation. I'm going to be donating myself. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire, but every little bit counts. So even if you think, man, I can only give $5-10, give it, because everything you give is automatically doubled thanks to Bob McNair. So something that's very near and dear to my heart. At the end of the year is always when I start looking at what charities I'm going to donate to. The Christmas spirit kind of does that to people, but I do at the end of every year focus on who I'm going to be giving to, and this is a big effort that I'm very close to. Also, the Wounded Warrior Project is another one. So if you can. So on to real estate matters. Wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the summation of 2015. 2015 was a very good year for the Houston real estate market. We saw another huge increase in sales prices and in rent prices. Towards the end of the year, things started to taper off a little bit and slow down. Inventory has gone up a little bit, but I was talking to an appraiser a couple of weeks ago, and she was telling me that everything she's been appraising has been kind of capping off lately, and I do see that we're kind of peaking, but 2016 still looks like a year where we're going to see increased prices, just not as dramatically and as crazy as before. I get a lot of people who the first thing they ask me, when I tell them I'm a realtor, they find out is, what's going to happen with the market? Are we going to have a crash? We're going to have a bubble, that kind of thing. And my answer to that is short-term, no. There are a lot of signs that make us feel very familiar. This market is very familiar to the one we had before, where sales prices were flying and then we had the crash. But there's a lot of little things that are happening behind the scenes that have changed this time around. For example, we're not giving away loose loans like we were before. Even though the government threatens to do it, they haven't. Loan standards are still tight. There's not as many people underwater on their mortgages, not as many people borrowing against their houses as there was back then. Things like that. Builder inventory is way lower than it was back then. Builders were just building houses like crazy on any ground they could find. The builders have learned from that mistake last time, and they're taking it slowly. They are increasing their inventory each year, but they're not going nuts like they were before. So 2015 was a very prosperous year for Houston real estate in general. I think we're going to continue to see some of that prosperity, but I will caution that the economy in this country is very fragile, and the housing market in turn is very fragile as well. So we could easily see a turn on that. And as I've been cautioning people in other videos, if you do think you are definitely going to sell in the next year or two, contact me, because specifically to your neighborhood, you may want to get out while you can, while prices are high, and don't risk when the market goes down your neighborhood being the one that just really dramatically loses value. So there's some neighborhoods I have specifically in mind that I'm worried about for that, where you may have bought, your house might have been worth 110 grand 5 years ago, and now it's worth 170. And you know, if we have a slowdown in the market, your neighborhood's gonna be the first one to drop off the map. Now, there's a lot of neighborhoods that are very undesirable in Houston. They're selling super high right now. And if the market shifts, those neighborhoods won't sell as well. So just something to keep in mind. You know, feel free to contact me if you have any questions about buying, selling. Maybe you want me to do a market analysis to tell you what your house is worth. Maybe you're not going to do anything for the next 6 months to a year. It doesn't matter. You want to be looking ahead. You want to be planning ahead. And if you have anything real estate wise, any questions, contact me. Brad@realtyright.com. You can message me through Facebook, or you can call me on my cell phone, 281-770-1099. I'll give the contact info again. One thing I want to hit on before I close in the video is I want to tell you a story about a person that I'm friends with on Facebook, who I'm seeing some bad things happen to this person with the listing of their home. She contacted me, and I'm not going to name her obviously, and I'm not meaning to call her out, but she contacted me a few months ago, asked me to do a walkthrough in her house with the intention of getting it ready to sell. That never happened. We exchanged some messages. She ended up listing it with someone I'm assuming she knows through a family member. No big deal. Don't hold any grudges for that. But I actually had a buyer looking in her area, in her neighborhood in Katy. Good neighborhood, good schools, really is an area that should be selling. And I came across the listing and realized it was her listing. And the listing was just jacked up. And I think I've told this story before in another one of my videos. But the listing was messed up. I didn't want to call her and tell her because I didn't want it to look spiteful or that I was causing problems. But there were some problems with the physical description of the property. There were some key search features that allow you to search through the MLS that were missing, that if you searched for like a specific area, you wouldn't have got this house. Pictures were bad, that kind of stuff. And I just thought to myself, wow, this thing's gonna be on the market a long time. It's also priced too high. Pricing correctly is critical. And people don't think about that. And that's the scary thing is a lot of people will hire a realtor based on whichever realtor tells them they can sell it for the most. That's a big tactic. And in fact, when I was going through real estate school, that's what they told me. Tell them you can sell it for a crap ton of money because that's how you get listings. And then after a month, you just lower the price. That's a real strategy of realtors. So don't just hire somebody based on that. That's the lesson of this story. Hire a good realtor. I want you to use me with every fiber of my being, but I know that doesn't always happen. Sometimes a family friend, your relative, you are going to use someone else, but use somebody good. If you use somebody else and I know they're reputable and they're solid, I can sleep at peace at night. But I see so many people I know using realtors who are just morons. And there are so many people. In 8 years, I've met so many realtors who just can't do this job. And that's why you see people come and go. Everybody knows someone who used to be a realtor. It's very hard to stick in this business because you have to give excellent customer service to do this job long term, and not many people are willing to do it. They're in it for the quick buck, and you get in there. But back to my person I'll tell you about. So I noticed after 60 days, they fired that realtor. They figured out the listing was messed up. And now they're with another realtor, and the house is on the market another 30 days. This realtor has a much better listing, it's correct, but they increased the price. And so now it's on for another 30 days, and they are in December now, and they essentially have 1 month to sell this house before they hit January. And once they hit January, they're gonna be taking considerably less for this house, or it's gonna be on the market for another 3 months. And had they just priced it right the first time, marketed it right the first time, they probably would have got a very aggressive offer that they liked, got it under contract, and been gone. And because they made the wrong choice, picked the wrong realtor, 90 days now, nothing's happened. I'm sure they're stressed out, and I'm sure they're going through hell over this. So pick the right realtor. It's me, okay? It is me. But if it can't be me, you get the second best guy, okay? There's plenty of second best guys out there. I will totally support you in that. I have some people that I've worked with over the years that I really respect and are good at this job. But it's a very small percentage. For every 100 realtors, there's maybe one good one. And then there's not that many that will put your needs above theirs, so Get the right realtor. It will affect you. Thank you to everyone who has used me throughout my entire career, but specifically in 2015. I appreciate the support. 2015 has been a great year in real estate for me. I've got even bigger things planned for 2016. I'm going to stay on the same business plan, and I'm going to keep providing excellent service for my clients, but I want to do bigger and better things. I've got some cool contests and prizes that are going to come up in these video series. But I am very thankful. I get to meet some wonderful people in this business. I thank every one of my clients. You're all beautiful, wonderful people. Thank you to everyone who's referred someone to me. That is the biggest compliment you can give me. My business is a very large percentage referrals, probably 90+% referral based. And that's how I keep my bills paid and feed my family. So I appreciate it. I want to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. Again, if you like the video, please share it, like it on Facebook. If you have any comments, post them in the comment section on either YouTube or Facebook. Feel free to message me through Facebook, and you can contact me at brad@realtyright.com or on my cell phone, 281-770-1099. Thanks again, and you guys be safe.